Okay, so I'm very new to this topic and I don't know too much about it, but here we go. This is about deaf and music. So, automatically, for a lot of people, when you hear a phrase such as the deaf and music, it seems very paradoxical because how can someone who can't hear be able to experience music? And that is something that in today society, a lot of interpreters and deaf people are trying to figure out. Because, yes, deaf can't hear music, but that doesn't mean they can't feel it or see it. Now, that second concept might sound a little bit crazy and far fetched, but trust me, it'll all make sense in a little bit. So, firstly, deaf can hear music, and of course that makes sense because they're deaf, so they don't have the ability to hear. But deaf can feel beats and vibrations. So I've actually known of people who are deaf being able to play the drums, because as any musician could tell you, or any percussionist I should say could tell you, every drum has a different vibration. So how a deaf person would play the drums is that they would hit one of the drums, they would hit one of the drums, and then they'd feel that vibration. And for those of you who don't know music very well, the higher a vibration, or let me explain it. So the more quickly something echoes, say you hit something and it echoes very quickly, the higher the sound is going to be. But if you have something that's bigger, say you have a bathtub. This might sound weird, but you have a bathtub and you put a sheet of, you put saran wrap all over it and tighten it. If you smack the saran wrap, the vibrations will go around the tub, and seeing that the tub is very big, it will vibrate more, which makes the sound deeper. If you put saran wrap over, say, a cup and hit it, the vibrations are going a lot shorter of an area, so it makes the vibrations go faster, which makes them higher. So the faster vibrations go, or the sound waves go, means the higher that the pitch is. So that's how people who are deaf can play the drums, because they feel the different vibrations. How they do it musically is something I am not very adept on, but I'd love to learn more about that. So besides just hearing the vibrations of a drum or other musical instrument, deaf also, or I should say, the deaf community, such as interpreters and other deaf people who are involved in the arts, are beginning to do this concept of visual music. And that may sound weird, and it sounded very interesting to me at first too, but let me show you. So in music, when deaf people go to a concert, there are interpreters there. I need to fix this. And the interpreters will be sitting there and they'll sign the words of the song as it's going. But as you know, many songs have a musical break. So most deaf people will just be there signing this, because this is a sign for music. So interpreters will just be sitting there like this. So deaf people don't really get a full encompassing of what the song is saying. So a lot of people, or a lot of interpreters, are trying to do more motion with it. And involved in that, there's this other deaf woman that I watched a TED Talk about, and she is using signing as a way to represent visual music. So she was an artist, and she had this idea of how she was going to these people music. So she had the audience go like this, and then go like this, and then go like this. Those are 3 different signs. I honestly at this moment cannot remember them, but those are 3 different signs. And as she put them together, she did them quickly, and they all began to seem more like music if you see the flow of it. And if you've ever watched someone sign, you can see how a experienced signer, it seems like music, as they're almost, you can almost see the music in their signing because they just sign so elegantly and they know what they're doing. So, with both vibrations and visual music, the deaf community is beginning to work into the music world, which I think is very awesome.